the audience is invited to come into the Forest of Forgotten Disco. It's about trying to get back the magic of Christmas and of discos into the forest, all with a lovely twist. So it's both naughty and nice. I would love for this play to kind of show that you don't have to have a perfect 2.4 nuclear family Christmas. Like, no matter what your Christmas looks like, it can be fun and it can be lovely, and you can find the joy and happiness within that. I think it's a wonderful thing that as much theatre is accessible to deaf audiences as possible, but not only that, it involves deaf actors, deaf creatives, and the creative use of sign language and visual storytelling as well. So that the whole story is accessible, that you're an integral part of the storytelling as well, as opposed to it being an interpreter on the side, which sometimes can be perhaps not as effective as having someone in the middle of it really helping create that story. But it's a creative use of BSL and visual storytelling as well. So a hearing audience will be able to access it.
I'd love this show to have an impact on mainstream theatre, because I feel there's a real lack of access in our theatres at the moment. We need to do a lot more about it. I've been working in the theatre world for the last 20 years and I've seen very slow progress. And it's great that there's a lot of deaf and disabled theatre makers that are pushing back the barriers that we face and making work that is accessible. I just think it's time that mainstream theatres took that on board and looked at the work that we're doing. But it's not just about going mainstream theatre world, come and have a look at this. It's also, I think it's really important to raise the aspirations of young deaf and disabled young people who are in our audience. They come and see a show, they might see someone like themselves on the stage and realise that they can too have a career in theatre, in TV and film. Because as a whole genre, we lack deaf and disabled role models. The show, The Forest of Forgotten Discos, it has integrated creative use of sign language in it and visual storytelling, and this is so we can make the story accessible to deaf audience members. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. I have a lot of my friends who are deaf and they get limited to what shows they can go and see, because there's only usually one signed performance of a show, and usually that interpreter is over on the one side of the theatre. It's not really integrated. So for this show we want people to come whenever they fancy, so we have got creative use of sign language throughout the piece. And we do also have a specialist BSL performance and an interpretive performance on one date as well. And we're also trying to make it as accessible as we can for visually impaired young people by integrating as much audio description into the piece as we possibly can.